We up.
Hello. You said WLDC?
WLDCnews.com. Hey, Facebook fam. I got Miss Nikea in here.
Hello. How are you?
In the crew.
And my pretty girl. Say hey.
Nikea and the Nikeettes.
You know what? Come on.
We
Yeah. We're gonna do a little step.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. No.
Hey, we get again. The calling number is 800-450-7876. 800-450-7876.
Y'all don't have to call.
What's up, brother Cedric? Charles. Hey. Y'all say hello, Miss Nikea.
Hi.
And the crew.
And the crew.
Right.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ready to go?
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Orgy, how you doing? All right. We about to get in there. Hey, Angelo. What's up, Tracy? Clifford?
Look at people coming
Oh,
on.
yeah.
People want to know what's
They
going
want
on.
to know what's going on.
Y'all want to talk about sex? That's why y'all coming on this. They want to talk about sex today.
Hey. They in there singing, y'all.
Hello.
What's up, brother Haywood? Hey, Charles, right about now.
I'm not live. I'm just recording.
Audrey, hey. Yeah, she not.
Hello. We gonna talk about sex.
Right.
But not in the way that you want.
Amen. Trust me. Oh, yeah. We're gonna get like 5,000 views. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
man, why should I go there, man?
I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm sorry.
They coming in there. Hey, Viv, how you doing?
Say out.
Right.
You had to use that word.
What's the name of your song?
Which one? I got.
You
I
got.
Believe in Me is my new single.
So right to the songs you got there.
And then I have my Pretty Girls Weight Organization.
Even all these years,
And me.
Gwen Marshall say good morning, crew. Y'all say hello. Good morning, good Gwen.
What's happening? How are you? And
Yeah, live on the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. It's gonna be a great morning.
Yes, that's right.
I had a late night, guys. I got in with a good old air raid band.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what I say. So, give me a chance to wake up.
getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Hey, what's up, Aaron? My man. Proud of you, son. My man. Good stuff. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Cassandra. Tierra.
Cassandra, Tierra.
Everybody good?
Hello, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Happy blessed Sunday. Yes. Hello. We're going to preach this morning. Yes. Turn to your Bibles.
What's up, brother Eric? Hey, Eric, I'm going to be in the building on Thursday, my friend. My face is going to be in the place on Thursday.
What that mean? Oh, we about to start.
About to start.
We got to get
We
serious.
got to get serious here.
Like they really watch.
They gonna see you.
They can't see me on the radio, but just in case.
Dynamite. Yeah. Y'all talking to y'all youngers about sex? If y'all, we gonna find out today. Exactly.
Clutch my pearl.
You don't need
Here we go.
Clutch my rest of the pearl.
Let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show. He cares, he shares, he knows. The journey of our youth is in our control. So tell your family and tell your friends that the word on the street is we all should listen in. So let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show.
Good morning, everyone. I'm blessed, super excited to have my good friend, Miss Nikea Marie in the building. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I see you got some guests as well. Let's go ahead. Let's introduce our guests in here.
Yes.
Who we got in the building?
We have. Tell who you are. I know what to talk about.
Good morning, everybody. This is Karen Smith representing Woodbridge.
Yes. Come on.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kennette, representing Washington, D.C.
Yes. All right.
Good morning, family. This is Marissa from Waldorf, Maryland.
Whoa.
Good morning. This is Naomi from Columbia, Maryland.
Columbia.
Yes.
All right. So there you have it. Hey, look, they're from all over.
That's right.
They came in here and gave me their time. So today's topic. Well, first of all, before we get into the topic, I'm gonna let Miss Nikea tell the world a little bit about herself.
Well, praise the Lord. Since it's Sunday, hallelujah. My name is Nikea Marie, and I have an organization called Pretty Girls Wait. Pretty means pure, righteous, eternally true to you, which is to God. I also have a blog called The Diary of a Mad Black Virgin. I was a virgin when I got married, and I talk about the journey and the process of that whole thing. It's a lot. You got to check the blog out. Awesome. And then we just get women together and empower on their journey and inspire and encourage them. So I brought my ladies with me today so that you don't just take my word and hear from me. You hear from the fruit of what we're doing. So
that's what we're going to do. We gonna, let's start talking to the fruit. Which one of our fruits want to step up to the mic?
Come on, Apple.
Real Apple come on.
Apple is going to come on up and talk to us.
Right, and this is a very powerful show, and I'm glad you guys are on here. So how has Miss Nikea, kind of motivated you guys to walk this walk? Give me you guys' story.
Hi, well, I'm Kenneth, and I would say that joining Pretty Girls Wait has motivated me so much to really honor what it means to be abstinent and really honor what it means to be a pretty girl. As you know, when you're growing up, being a millennial, it's not easy to conform to the ways of this world and just how society has things set up. So joining Pretty Girls Wait has helped me build a sisterhood first and foremost, and really honor what it means to just stand my ground and kind of, let my no's be no's and my yeas be yay. But Amen. I have people that are holding me accountable. I have people that are lifting me up in prayer because it's definitely needed during this journey, and it's just been amazing for me.
Amen. All right. Next up, go ahead, Nikea. You want to say some of that?
No, that was so sweet. I had to give her $5.
Amen. There you go. Hey, yes.
I made nay.
$5.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Pretty Girls Wait has been a blessing to me. I really don't know how to reiterate after what Kenneth said, but we talk about abstinence, and we were talking before we came in about how it doesn't start with the physical. It's about starting with what's in your mind and what's in your heart, and honoring God with not just your body, but with everything that He's giving you, because these bodies aren't our own, so we have to give back to Christ. And as far as for me, accountability. I've been with these women for 3 or 4 years. I've known Nikea maybe a little bit longer than that, but just being able to have women who have the same mindset, the same journey, so we can hold each other up, because the devil wants us to be alone. Amen. So being connected to women who have the same passion and purpose has been a blessing.
Awesome. All right. Amen. Okay, we off to a good start.
That's right.
Yes. All right. So, let's see. My experience with Pretty Girls Wait has been amazing because Nikea is like the best big sister that anybody can ask for. Her relationship with God it's wonderful to watch, and like she's a great mentor. She also, it's like she's always available. Like everybody else said, the accountability, like you could call her anytime, but you establish that type of relationship with everybody that's a part of the organization.
Close the door.
It's so loving, and like we can be vulnerable with each other. We can be transparent. Nikea is transparent from her career to her family. Awesome. And so it's like she teaches us not just to wait for sex, but to wait for that job that you're looking for, that position, that of course that man and everything else. Just waiting on God's best in every area of your life. It's awesome. Not only about our sexual
Awesome.
All right, Mother Karen.
All right, here we go. That's indeed.
Well, good morning, everybody. What Pretty Girls means to me, outside of what everybody else just talked about, it's important for women to come together and feel empowered. Oftentimes we are misrepresented as, being loud and over the top and all of that. But what this organization does, it helps you identify who you are as a woman and feel empowered to walk in that and just represent yourself as a woman of God at all times.
Yeah.
He's like, and it's over. The show is done.
Hey, so, wow. Okay. This is how we're going today. Okay, let me roll my sleeves up. God is great. And this is very powerful in itself, because what you guys are actually doing is, like you're saying, you're dedicating yourself to something, you're committing yourself to something, but at the end of the day, is all about your journey, your walk with God. That is so powerful because people lose sight. And I always tell people, we pray all the time, but we still go out in this world and we're afraid. So either you're going to believe or you're not going to believe. And what you ladies are doing is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And these are the type of things that I want on this show because people are not educated. Mm-hmm. If kids or young men and young ladies are taught at an early age to abstain from sex, mm-hmm. and is reiterated through the household, guess what they're going to do? Mm-hmm. They're going to abstain for it because now it's learned behavior. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what is some of what makes you smile the most as you go out about your walk, talking to people about abstinence?
I would say the thing that makes me smile the most is just seeing the results and letting women know that there's another way. I think that sometimes, for me, I would say I had an issue with waiting. Of course, I desired to, but I had an issue when I would go to church, and it would always be the married women telling me to wait, or the women that were older, that were seasoned saints. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, but what? I was like, and then, they were very much like, didn't have my swag and things like that. So out in the world, you have people that have a certain swag about them, and it's just like, okay, look at Beyonce and look at all these people that they're looking up to, like they're beautiful. They have, of course, it's not about the outside, but that's what they're being attracted to. So if someone like Beyonce is telling me that I'm a diva, then I can relate to her differently. Amen. So we also bring a swag too. And everyone is pretty. It doesn't matter, what, because some people say ugly girls wait. I know no one is ugly. That's what my point is. It's pretty is an acronym for pure and righteous. So it's not about the outside, but it does, help. We do build each other up to even, work on your outside and make the inside shine from the outside. So I think it makes me smile the most to see the fruit of your labor and to see women really like, okay, I want to do this. And there was so many women when I started that were doing it but were afraid to say it because it wasn't popular. So when you come and you say, hey, I'm doing this too, other people stepped up and say, oh, I want to as well. So we're not perfect, but we're just, we're walking this thing out and we're processing, so it's not about being perfect. We have single mothers, we have women that were molested. It's not just a virgin,
Amen.
Situation. Amen. We empower all women, so it's encouraging.
Okay. From a male perspective, and I'm 50. Hey.
All right.
But real talk, I wish that someone had this type of conversation with me. So call us. The number is 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about abstinence. Let's talk about God. What I love about when my cousin Cheryl.
Yes.
Right. And bless you too, cousin. Thank you. Love you so much for connecting. I said, that's a very powerful show. A lot of young men, whether it be smoking weed, dating women, being in gangs, not doing well in school, it comes from a place of not being taught.
Right.
So a lot of families and moms and dads, they always talk about, I just don't know what to do with my child. I just don't know what happened. Well, it happened from day one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're out fussing and cussing and the young lady and the young man see the mom dating multiple dudes or see the dad being slick on the telephone, pops trying to be all slick. So guess what the kid going to do? He's going to emulate.
Yes.
So I watch a lot of shows on TV. And like speaking on this matter, there are shows where they have like a young lady that didn't have sex till she was married. So people will look at shows like that, and if it's not intriguing to them, guess what they do? They turn it off.
Right.
And you ask yourself, why? But if they look at a show, and like all these reality shows, and the ladies walking around showing stuff and talking all sideways, guess what? Their ratings are out the roof.
Right.
That's a problem for me. So for the young ladies that you come in contact with, and I'm quite sure they may come in and say something about Nene every now and then. Girl, I saw such and such and such and such. Girl, I can't believe they still fighting. So what do you say to those young ladies when they start talking about this secular stuff that's not coinciding with you guys' walking movement?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Who wants to take it?
I'll be like, go ahead first.
I can definitely agree with what's being taught. So many people talk about, oh, you were taught this or you were taught that. Well, it's like you have to have something to stand on.
Yes.
And these young girls don't have it because you think about their parents. Their parents didn't have it.
Right.
So it's going generational. So we're at a point where we're breaking generational curses and providing them with the opportunity to grow in God. Right. They have to be taught that. They have to be shown that God loves you. Right. I was listening to a sermon and T.D. Jakes said, I don't want to hear a single person say, you don't have a lover. Because Jesus is the lover of your soul. Okay. And when you realize that, life changes. Right. You won't allow a young man to treat you a certain way. You won't allow, even if you see your mother doing it. Right. Like I work with girls as a teacher, and you see how their mother is, and you can't. There's no reason for you to be surprised that a young girl acts the same way. And as for young men, there aren't strong enough examples out here in this world for them to say, "Oh, I want to live right for God. I want to make sure that my girlfriend doesn't feel like she's worthless, and I treat her like I would treat anybody else." So it has to be taught, and it starts at home, but it's not impossible. And I feel like our people feel like it's impossible to change, to do something they've never done before. Right. But my sister said this to me yesterday. In order to do something different, if you want something new, you have to do something different.
All right, well, we about to winding it down. We're going to come right back. Good God Almighty, there's some powerful ladies.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Now, again, the number is 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. Let's talk about sex, and let's talk about why you're not talking about sex to our kids.
All right.
See you on the break.
All right,
so we still live.
Oh, we still live.
Yeah, very, very powerful, very informative. Give some of these moms and some of these dads, some of the things that they can help.
30 to 1 p.m. on News Talk.
What they can do with give some examples of some solutions. No, just y'all here.
Give solutions for the parents.
Yeah, like if a mom.
I think a mother should. I don't have any children, but. When you don't have kids, sometimes you see some of the mistakes that parents make. I think that you should just be real with your kids. You shouldn't be so up in the clouds that you have no idea what's going on. You need to be able to get down to where they are and really be able to relate to them and be honest and transparent. It's nothing wrong with being honest with your children and talking to them about everything. Because they'll go out and find somebody else to talk to.
Ain't gonna be misled.
And they're gonna be misled, so why not you be that first line of defense and have that conversation with them.
All right. That's right. All right, well, my fruits.
My fruit?
And look for the
man. No, that's right here.
Yeah.
She like,
look at it. Right.
No, this thing on.
Connect.
So I have siblings, younger siblings that have children, and I always tell them, you have to literally be the light in your children's lives. You have to set examples, because when children I work with infants, and when they're like little itty bitty babies and they grow up, they're sponges. They soak in everything that you have around them. So you really have to set the example of what you allow around your children. And like if you're the type of person that curse, no judgment, but just try to limit how much you do it around your children. If you're the type of person that is still sexually active, make sure you're setting those boundaries in your household so that you're not doing it around your children. So they're not just watching you and they're confused on what a parent should be.
And the things you walk around the house.
And the things you walk around. Right. Exactly.
Oh, God.
Oh,
my.
You want to go? You want me to go before you?
I can piggyback a little bit of what Kenneth just said. I would say to just be the best example, like in a way that they can look at you and not be confused, at the lifestyle that you live. Like it shouldn't contradict, the things that you teach them or the expectation.
Yeah.
We'll continue.
All right.
To be continued.
Good job. Growing up. All right.
All right, so we're back. We're back with Miss Nikea Marie and her crew.
The fruit. And the fruit.
Let me before we always gotta pay some bills. Let me give a quick shout out to my good friends from Pick 6 Academy. They're in the business of developing leaders by dedication, discipline, and determination. Their website is pick6academy.org. Again, that's pick6academy.org. If you're trying to create an outstanding athlete, God-minded young man, dedicated young man. These guys are some guys that you really need to look into. And that's Pick 6 Academy. My man John, y'all doing a great job, man. Appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for sponsoring the Archie Beslow Show. I need more sponsors. Help me out, real talk. But I'm back, right. I'm back with Miss Nikea. That was very powerful. So what we was doing, guys, when we went off the air, we were talking about what are some of the things that Nikea and Nikea and her friends can, if informational advice they can give to families about how to conduct themselves around their kids.
Right.
And what are we actually saying to our kids?
Right.
So I'm going to challenge my callers. I need you guys to call in on 1-800-450-7876. And this is what I want you guys to answer. I want my callers to answer this. Do you talk to your kids about sex? And if you do, what are you saying?
Right.
And if you don't know, call in. And I have a nice group of ladies in here that can help answer that question. But this is so important because we always are frustrated and upset when our kids come back and they have done something wrong because they haven't been properly taught. Because we as adults, we're so caught up in our own lives and we don't take time to see when the young man is having sexual questions or the young lady is not familiar with her sexuality, whether to do or not to do or be persuaded by this fine young man. She don't know what to wear out because she want to dress nice for herself. She's not actually dressing nice to acquire anybody. So now she's stuck. So when she goes out in her nice clothes, her high boots doesn't. Right, Miss Nikea.
I got high boots on now. I got high boots on. Wait a minute now. What we saying?
Right. So we're gonna take our first caller. Then we got Brother Raymond on the line.
Somebody on the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
That call.
Brother Raymond, you on the air? Hello, caller, you on the air?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Good morning, my friend. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Top of the morning to you and the Black Queen.
There you go.
Come on now. I like him.
Black Queen
in the building. We're in the building, sir.
Go ahead, Ray.
Living for God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me add this to the puzzle. The black woman is God.
Amen.
She birthed the earth. She birthed the world. And if she not birthed Jesus, it is not Jesus, it's God. So case closed.
Case
now,
closed.
Let me say this, good brethren.
Yes, sir.
You know, I love my history, and I looked at some articles, and I found an article in the Huffington Post, so you know it's the real deal.
Okay.
A black man by the name of Alan Mtaji is responsible for the internet, Google, Bing, Yahoo, X.com, AOL.com, DuckDuckGo, and 2 or 3 more inventions that he did. And the white boy stole them because this brother did not patent those inventions, and this is why the white boy is getting credit for all these sites. So, brother, we need to know this. We need to teach our children this real our story, not his story, because his story is his lie. And it's time for us to wake up and realize that we are the chosen ones. We were the first, and we will be the last. We ain't gonna never die.
Hey, so brother, let me ask you a question, Brother Ray, based off of what the and you can see if you can find me a little known Black history fact that you know of. How do you think, even when you was coming up, how was the sexual conversation started? How did it end? And what did you learn from the conversation that your mom and your dad may have had with you in reference to sex at an early age?
Well, good brother, my mother and my father were both in the household, so I learned from both of them, okay? I learned to clean the house, wash the dishes, separate the clothes from my mom. So I learned how to clean the car, work on the car, cut the grass, leaves, snow, and what have you from my father, the manly things. And with that said, he talked to me about sex when he first went out of state to work for the government, okay? And when he went out of state, he told me that I'm a man now, okay? He's leaving the home, and it's up to me to take care of my 2 sisters and my mother. And I was only in the, well, let's see, this is 2018. That was back in 64.
Okay.
And then on the sex thing, he told me if there's any sex to be done between me and a female, to always protect myself.
Okay.
Okay. and he used the term life support, because nowadays if you don't cover your thing up, bro, you don't know if you're gonna live or not.
You got to cover that. You got to cover that thing up. That's true. Hey, all right, brother, Ray. I got the phone lines are blowing up, Ray. You know, I ain't trying.
And peace and love to you and the young lady.
Thank you, and I appreciate you so much, man. Hey, Raymond's one of our regular callers. Bless his heart. Again, the phone lines is 1-800-450-7876. And you guys, you know me. This is a radio. I ain't got to bite my tongue. We're always talking about how we're trying to help our youth, but once again, we're on the air, and the people that want to talk about the most are not calling in. I'm on a radio show to bring change, to figure it out. That's why the show is called Let's Figure It Out on the Archie Beslow radio show. I got Miss Nikea in here, and we're talking abstinence. We're talking the V word, being a virgin until you get married by choice, and following God, and having God first and foremost in your life at an early age. This is powerful. We can talk about sports. We can talk about your little youngin' crossing somebody up on the basketball court. We can talk about your little youngin' running, scoring touchdowns. We can talk about your daughter that can sing her heart out. We can talk about all that. But right now, our kids, babies are having babies because they're not properly taught. Moms and dads are out here running amok because they weren't properly taught. So now we have someone in the building, along with her basket of fruits, that can help out. So now, real talk. So, hey, callers, I want to know. This is what I want to know. This is what I want to know. How do you guys feel about your sons or your daughters having company in their bedrooms? What you got to say to that, Miss Nikea?
Oh my!
What y'all got to say? Company in the bedroom, and your mom and dad, they downstairs eating some oodles or noodles or something, while the two youngins upstairs in the bedroom exploring things.
Yeah, first, I don't know why they would be up there. I think you're setting your child up to fall, because that is definitely a tempting area. I don't care if they're doing homework or what are they doing up there. I think that's the question. Like, what is the purpose of them being in the bedroom? Why can't they be in the kitchen or be where the parents are? I just feel like you have to set boundaries as a parent. Sometimes I think for parents, we get caught up in our own thing and we kind of be like, just go do you. Just go do you. And then them doing them is when they get... Each other. Wait a minute. They're doing each other while you're doing you. And so we all know, because I've heard this, like, I have a mama, if you're a single mother, you're working all the time, you don't really have time to really be all up in their business. So they're doing things, and it's like, you have to count the cost. That's what I say. I have a son now, and he's 16 months old, and I have to count the cost. And sometimes I can't do everything, because I have to make sure I'm paying attention to my son. And he was in the tub touching his little self the other day. I said, wait a minute, sir. What is happening?
That's not yours yet.
He was like, but he's just figuring out his body and stuff. So I'm just like, Lord Jesus, help me. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But, as his mom, I need to teach him and train him. And, when that time comes and make sure that I'm available to be a parent. And that comes with sacrifice. And that's what happens when you have a child. It's like you lay your life down to say, hey, if I have to give up these things to make sure that I'm available for my child, then that's just what I have to do. So it ain't always on the church. I think we throw them in the church and think y'all let the church deal with it, and then you at home and there's nothing else going on in the home to help.
All right.
So
we're gonna be right back. Like I said, again, the number is 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. This is the WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, and WLDCnews.com, where information is power. See you soon.
How do you deal with the sexuality of a child that's gay?
How you deal with what?
A gay child. That's what somebody said.
Yeah. Is that how you deal with it? How y'all deal with it?
Well, I would say you love them through it. You still encourage them. You still be there for them. Still support them. Righteously judge your child. Just don't throw judgment, and you have your own plague in your eye. Make sure you're uplifting them, and maybe figure out who their peers are. I think a lot of times the people that we surround ourselves with is a major impact on our lives. So who are they surrounded by? Be involved with your children. Get them into activities. Have them divert their attention. You had a question?
What you got?
What if homes are not properly trained?
Okay.
Okay. It really starts with healing as a parent, because parents need to be healed too.
Yeah.
So it starts at the top.
Yeah.
And like you said, church can't fix it, because church isn't in your home. Church is only Sunday or Friday or whenever you may go to church, but it really starts with the parents and healing at the root. Because if you keep, I'm gonna nurse this little flower right here, no, you got to pull the roots out.
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna grow. It's gonna continue to choke.
Amen.
That's good.
But in doing that, you have to position yourself to be able to want to have that root plucked out.
Right.
That's the hard part.
And that is what you have to surrender yourself to. You can't just say, I want to be healed. You have to ask God, show me, explore me, find those parts of me that are broken. And once you get down to what is broken, that is the only time that you can pluck out and heal and move on and grow in Christ.
That's good.
Okay. Miss Nikea, hey, this is beautiful. Real tough. Hey, we gonna have a caravan. We gonna like walk the streets today. We gonna just go some.
We got one over. We gonna make a phone go down the streets and talk.
Hey guys, 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. Call into the show. I see we have somebody on the air. We're gonna get them when we come back on. We got hubby on the phone. I appreciate it. There you go. Amen.
Hey, brother.
He gonna come on next.
Lord.
Help us.
Oh, God. What is he gonna say? We don't know.
Hey.
Are you going to him first?
I am, right after the break. We got it. Hey, yes,
She said, woo.
yes, do your calisthenics now. You do some.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably going to come talking. So, praise the Lord, church. He's
in the building.
There you go. And talk about his gift, because as a man, that's something special to us as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we were actually taught that, but no one fed that into our souls. We hear it. Oh, yeah, that's and then it was more of like a fad. It was like, oh, my, I got a version. You feel me?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be looked. It shouldn't be looked. It shouldn't be looked at it that way. It should be looked at, wow, God is actually sending me somebody that's pure.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, you should be able to kind of like talk to your kid and explain why you're saying this. But that's someone that dedicated their life to God, and they also dedicated their life to themselves. And they wanted to be different. And if you can do that, the world is yours.
That's good.
And that's what we're not teaching. Huh?
I'm going to go live one.
But you also should teach that if your way didn't start out like that, that you can always find your way back to Christ.
Amen.
And become celibate.
Amen. Well, yes, ma'am. There you go.
Because
that's why we
all haven't, led that virgin life. I mean, I can't say that I did.
Yes, ma'am.
But I know that I'm living for the Lord, and I've, sustained myself and maintained my level of celibacy.
And that's powerful.
Yes. It is.
Not real talk.
It is. And men can do it too.
Yeah.
Make it impossible. Let me go live.
This is my favorite song. I love this song.
Y'all live. We on Facebook Live now.
Hey. Welcome back to the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. I'm in here with, it's cool. They can hey and hi. Hey, that's radio. We good. Hey, do y'all.
Facebook Live.
So we were just talking about, we're talking about sex and the whole bedroom thing. But we're going to go, I got a very important call on this line that's about to come on the air real quick. Is that Brother Ryan Jones? That's who on the air? Are you on the air now? Brother Ryan?
Uh-oh.
Hello? Yes, sir. You on the air?
We can't hear him.
Ryan?
Yes, sir.
My man. Okay. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. And thank you for sharing, this wonderful woman of God with me today. I appreciate you.
Oh, man, I'm definitely honored that she was able to be on the show. I woke up this morning and looked at Facebook and saw her out the bed and saw her
Amen.
Get on the radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, brother.
Hi, honey.
Hi, baby girl. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm I'm doing well. I hear you, girl. You done made it to radio.
He's so dumb.
Hey, so brother Ron, I'm gonna jump right in, man. Tell me in the world, over 200,000 listeners, what does Miss Nikea mean to you?
Man, I was listening to you guys earlier, and some of the important things that I wanted to just disclose about my wife is just her being an awesome woman of God, and the attraction of her relationship with God attracted me to a degree I hadn't even realized. But I just wanted to say one of the things that I realized in our relationship was, man, my wife was she was a lot stronger than I was. And although I'm a man and men think of strength as physical, but my wife being so much stronger than me, and the fact that she was able to wait for the person God had for her. And I realized, man, I'm not as strong as I think or thought as a man. And so that doesn't even put me in a place of position to think that I'm over her.
Amen.
But it caused me to say, man, this walk with her is dynamic. And she became such an accountability for me because there were things that she did not subject herself to that I did. And so I was like, wow, man, I'm just looking at her life and the impact that it even had on me as her husband. I'm just honored and blessed to be her husband. So now we done went into this journey together, and it's just been amazing. And I want to say hey and thank you to all the ladies that also joined her today as well, man.
Yes, sir.
This organization, man, is just becoming a lot more than what we thought, but it is a blessing.
Man, so I don't get speechless. I'm
already pregnant. I don't know what else.
So I'm a motivational speaker. I speak in front of thousands and thousands of people on any given time. But this show to me is so powerful. But I'm gonna ask you this question, Brother Ron, and this is what I talk to my male friends out in this secular world. Do you have conversations with your male friends as it relates to how your wife affected you, how she is affecting you, and how you feel so grateful that God put someone in your life like Miss Nikea?
Absolutely. It is very important.
And what do you? And I don't want to cut you off. And what is your feedback from the guys? Because a lot of guys don't like talking about godly things and what gifts God has given us. People don't. They talk about it briefly, but we as men, we got to talk about the testaments and the journeys that God has brought us through, so that people can really be strong in their faith.
So number one, if you're gonna be around me, you gotta be willing to think like I think.
Amen.
So with that being said, everything about us, my household, is built on the desire to live the life God has for us and to make that a real depiction, because I think that that's something that's lost. And so with that being said, my wife is not somebody that just fell out of whatever, out the tree or anything of that nature. My wife is not someone that, I got to do what I wanted her to do, and I made the situation work for myself like a lot of people, a lot of men do. Mm-hmm. My wife was God sent.
Amen.
And so with that being said, within my conversations, it's very important that I disclose as well, man. Man, my wife is a blessing, dude.
Okay.
I don't care how you look at it. I don't look at my wife from do's and don'ts. I don't look at my wife from the things that you guys are looking at, from what she doesn't do or what she does do, or how she makes you feel on a physical level. My wife is God sent,
Amen,
first and foremost, and that's what I look for. Mm-hmm. So if you're not able to comprehend, if you're not able to follow, then that begins or opens up a door for teaching and allowing a man to see a different perspective.
That's good.
But the feedback at the same time is, wow, I don't think about that.
Yes, sir.
That's not something that I was brought up in. And one thing I also wanted to include with that is, no, honestly speaking, us men are not really brought up or not really taught the proper way. We're not taught like a lot of what ladies are.
Right, that's true.
Even now you see less men in the church. So it's becoming a lot harder. And so one of the things that I just continue to encourage the ladies in is to continue to do what you're doing, because you have so much power at the same time. Mm-hmm. Your willingness to stand and wait is power in and of itself.
I feel Ron, I feel the power in this room. I like I said, I've never been speechless in my life. It's a blessing to have your wife in the studio along with her friends, and it's a blessing for you to come on the air to speak highly about your wife, because that's another thing too. A lot of men are not edifying their wives.
That's right.
They're always looking for the wives to edify them, fix them dinner, and make sure the clothes is washed. They don't allow them to speak until they're finished speaking. They get frustrated. They don't want to listen. The relationship that you and Nikea have is very powerful. And
so I gladly serve my wife.
Amen.
And I want that to be understood and known. But I even just within the world of the men. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of women are attracted to the men in the world.
Amen.
But if a woman actually says that I'm waiting, then that would change the mindset of a man, and that would also change how men approach women.
Amen.
And I just think that they're just easier won't just give them anything. It gives them a lot more value and respect to them.
Yeah. Just by you saying it, you just froze me by saying that. Like I said, I'm 50, and I've been on Earth for a long time. And you're right. If right, real talk, ladies. If today's society, and that's a conversation for the home too, Brother Ron. If a mom or a dad would just sit down, especially the dads with their little princesses, if you sit down and put your arms around, baby, before you do anything, pray about it and let's talk about it. But you really want a young man to want you for you and not want you for what he wants.
Come on.
Absolutely.
And that simple conversation alone, and you can repeat that over and over again. Just like people learn songs. What you do, you loop the song over and over again.
Yeah.
What our parents are not doing, guys, we're not looping. They're not looping the things that our kids need to hear.
Yeah.
So they'll say it, and then they'll say it out of anger or out of frustration, and the kids will shut it down.
Yeah.
So the most important things from educate, well, we're going to start with God. We're going to start with education. Definitely sex, and the people that you're around. Another thing, too, talking about the bedroom. Brother Ron, you don't mind standing on the phone, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, my man, you can interact as well. There are a lot of young men and young women that are playing games with moms and dads now. They bring their representative.
Yeah.
So that's how the young men and the young ladies are allowed to be in the basements by themselves or be in the bedrooms by themselves. They come in the house, I go to church every Sunday. Yeah, my father this, my mother that. And a parent's always looking for comfort. Oh, he's a fine young man. Or she's a nice... Y'all go ahead on. I'm about to go to out with my girls. I'll be back. Y'all need anything? There's food in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
This is society we're in.
That's right.
Anybody want to speak to that? Exactly. Go ahead.
To me, I mean, that's a dodo bird. I mean, you can't be blind to what's going on.
Right.
You can't get wrapped up and caught up in the fact that, oh, this is a nice young man and he goes to church. Well, they're predators in church too. So this is your household. You control who comes in your household. You control where your kids go. No, you're not going upstairs. You're going to stay downstairs. Who is this young man? Where are your parents?
There you go.
What are they teaching you?
Where are your parents? See, she just hit it on the... Oh, my God. Girl, that's why I love radio.
With your eyes got on where your parents
Where your parents at? Good God Almighty. Girl, that's a whole... So, that was a very important... What she just said, we have went away from that. When the mom and dad kind of allow just anyone to interact with their sons or daughters without meeting the parents.
That's good.
Put them on the phone. My sons, they knew. I tell them, ain't nobody coming over here. You ain't just bringing a young lady over here. Nah, we ain't doing that. What's a mom do? Where a dad works, dad's still home. And the reason why I do that, because everyone has some type of, I don't want to call baggage is a bad word.
Right.
Everyone has a story. So, and Ryan, you can interact anytime you feel, my man. So, you have to know the whole story or some of the story to start allowing people to deal with your kids. So, the ladies that you guys come in contact with, what are some of their backstories that kind of be like, oh, this is where I need to help her at in this area? What's some of the areas that you guys have to target the most?
The house.
Okay, that's what everything.
It's the biggest area. It's really the household, how they were raised, what they were lacking, that's why I said as parents we don't always get it right. Sometimes we get the girl that felt like, hey, my mom was dating a man that molested me. I told her and she didn't believe me. So it caused me to have a hard heart. So we're breaking through the layers to get, like she was talking earlier, to the root of how we can help this person. Because I don't believe a child just wakes up and says, hey, I'm just going to do or be just have an attitude. I think there's something deep rooted that we have to ask ourselves, why are you so angry?
Right.
Why are you all of a sudden behaving this way? And even when your child is sexually active, I tell them that there are soul ties. And the way I can tell is when your behavior changes because you've taken on that person's character. So that sweet Jenny, parents pay attention when sweet Jenny becomes some little Bonquisha ghetto Becky, or she's dealing with depression or anger, because you don't know what that guy just transferred to her. Condoms don't protect you from the spiritual demons that come and that are after your seed. And that's why you have to be constantly in prayer. My mom, she passed away a few years ago, but my mother was a God-fearing woman. Like, God would snitch on me everything I did. She'd be like, the Lord told me I was in prayer, and he told me you was rolling your skirt up in school. I'm like, dang, Jesus, I don't know you, but I didn't have a relationship with God. I had a fear of my mom, but she taught me about knowing that God was looking out for me because he saw Pretty Girls Wait down the line. So she had to do what she did, or I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. So as a parent, you also have to be in prayer of your child's purpose. Sometimes all we care about is getting them out there. I can't wait till she turns 18. I can't wait till he turns this number. Like, no, what is your child's purpose? Ask God, what is my child on this earth to do? There's a purpose and a reason. They lighten up on Facebook with the heart.
Right,
ask them what their purpose is.
When we come back, Facebook, again, the number is 1-800-450-7876. Let's call into these dynamite young ladies. Listen to WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, and WLDCnews.com, where information is power. The Archie Beslow Show. Let's figure it out. We'll be back.
Okay. He's still on the phone too?
Yeah, Ron's there.
Well, wait a minute.
But you can hit him back and tell him, because when we come back, we're going to go into something else.
Okay.
Because I don't think he can hear us now.
I should call him.
So there you have it. Again, the number is 1-800-456. 1-800-450. These ladies got me all discombobulated. 1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. Let's talk about sex and abstinence. Yeah, real tough.
Jesus is a snitch. Yes, he is.
So to share a little bit about myself, I'm a praying man. So I'm not in the church.
Right.
For everybody had their reasons.
Right.
But I pray every morning. I pray throughout the day, and I have a dialogue with God on a regular basis. I have like a general conversation, and you hit it on the head. Once you're in tune and your spirit is in tune, where God is trying to lead you, I don't need any more encouraging words or people to keep me on point with God. It's working. He's working through me. I'm seeing all the fruits of my labor and him saying, Archie, do this, don't do that. If I do something wrong, he'll punish me to the point of the punishment is like, oh, my bad. And that's the conversation. I'll be like, you know what? You're right. My bad.
Right.
I done been in some dark places that if my walk with, helping these families and these kids, if I hadn't been consistent in this walk for 20 years, because he do give favor to people that's actually working for him. Mm-hmm. He know that we're not perfect. But at the end of the day, he gonna smack you in the back of your neck, like, look, let me take this from you. You feel me? And you be like saying, well, how the hell did I had that?
Right.
That's my secret. I ain't even unleashed this to the public yet.
Yeah.
So it's very important to deal from a spiritual realm when you're actually interacting.
That's good.
I can talk to any young man or any young lady. If our spirits don't connect, I'll cut the conversation.
That's good.
And I'll keep it moving.
That's dope.
And that's what we're not teaching our young kids.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah, well, at 50 years, I think I've,
They comes in at any age.
Real talk. Yes, ma'am. And it's funny you say that because a lot of people say, well, Archie, why do you do whatever? I say, because I was that kid that listened to the crackhead, that listened to the drunk man, that listened to the father that was cussing everybody out. I listened. I'll be back. Right. All right. Hey, very powerful show. So, Sister Nikea.
Okay.
I know, right? I'll be glad when they give me my extra hour. This show gonna have to go 2 hours now. I can't get it in. My heart beating like a thoroughbred horse with so much information. So I know, right? Let these 200-some thousand people know how they can get in contact with you. Okay. Just sell yourself right about now.
Well, praise God.
Amen.
You can follow me on all the social media. I'm Nikea Marie. I might not have room on my friends, so I do have another page which is just Nikea, so you can like that, and I'll give all my information, everything on Pretty Girls Weight, on Facebook, Instagram. You can follow us on Pretty Girls Weight. Yes. We have a conference coming up July 27th through the 28th. I would say it's more than a conference. It's an empowering movement that we're having. I'm telling you, it's been phenomenal. It's not your typical conference. Like, you know how everybody has a conference, but it's definitely something you've never experienced before.
My face going to be in the building.
Come on. Yes. And it's going to be in Clinton, Maryland.
Okay.
And at Mount Enen in Clinton, Maryland. And we just have an amazing time. And we do things out the box. So you just never know what you're going to expect. But this is going to be powerful. So follow us on all of that on Pretty Girls Weight. And on Instagram and Twitter is Nikea Marie 313. And you can follow me there, and all the information is there. And so we just, like I said, we just empower, uplift, encourage just women. And my husband, he's going to be starting to do things with the men, because we do need to get the men. And I think y'all should connect.
We're going, me and Brother Ryan going to connect.
Oh, yeah, because we got to pull these brothers up, too. We can't just pull the women. We got to get the men, too, and they need to see men.
It has to be dialogue. It has to be dialogue. Yeah. So, and I come from a place of, my testimony is very powerful. So as a motivational speaker, I came from the realm of, I would talk about getting high and all that, and, fighting and all that. But I don't do that anymore, because what I don't want to do is, I don't want you to be like I was, because people look at me because I'm very successful. So I don't want a young man or a young lady to say, well, you did X, Y, Z, and you turned out to be great. Well, I turned out to be great because I dedicated my life and my soul to the Lord. So if you don't have strong parenting, and you're in the middle between your parenting and God, so my bookends are my support. That's my parents and God. So I'm not going to fail like everyone else is failing, because I'm not going to let my mom and dad down, and I'm definitely not going to let God down, because I don't want to deal with those ramifications that's going to come. So these are the things that we have to tell our kids. And and you guys tell me, why is it that when you talk about God to people and they act like they don't want to have that conversation, we cut the conversation off? Can y'all speak to that? There we go. Amen. Let's talk. Come on.
What you want to talk about? What do you want to know? Because anything that... Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm saying when we actually start talking to God, you talk to God to some of your friends, they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it. So how do you?
How do you deal with it? Do you continue to talk about it, or do you cut it off, or what have you?
To be honest, I don't have those type of friends.
Amen.
But when I do have those those type of conversations with people who don't really want to address the subject of that, I just want to know why. Like, not that I'm being like
because it's helping you learn.
Controlling of the situation, but it's like I just want to know where your thinking is, how you got to where you're at, and to actually teach you, because it's scripture that could be found to anything that you have a question about. Like, it's all in the word.
Like I forget, that's why I'm not cutting you off, but I want to interact. So the young lady said something very powerful once again. If you're having dialogue with someone and you don't like the dialogue that you're having, or you don't like their response, ask them why they are where they are, so that you can learn from them as well.
Yeah.
You can't always guide the conversation without expecting something in return.
That's good.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
No, I was just going to say it's also about building relationships.
Yes, ma'am.
When you can have a conversation with someone, and like she was saying, ask why, it opens up the lines of communication and a level of transparency to be able to build relationships with people, because that's the most important thing, is to build that relationship and let that person feel comfortable, being able to ask whatever question they have, or even addressing what their issues are, but in a loving way, in a godly way.
That's good. And I would also say let your life speak for it too, because sometimes people talk, and I think sometimes people have been hurt by people's words, and I think actions speak louder than words too. So I think sometimes you just let your life speak and love them where they are, and just let your life speak, and then they'll be coming to you asking, okay, I want to know what's going on, because I see, people see me and my husband, and they're just like, okay, something's different about you. I want to know what it is. So different. Our life speaks. Sometimes we don't have to throw things at them. We just allow our life to speak, and then they come back to us, and then we can go into the rest of it too. So
I was going to say,
go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
What's important is that sometimes people are not spiritually discerning. So there are moments where you need to cut the conversation because they're not in a place to receive what you have for them. But like Karen said, speak in a godly way, speak power into them, and continue to pray for them, because out here in the world, it's like now we're talking about the universe. Who created the universe? We're worshiping the creation and not the creator. At the end of the day, you got to stand before God, whether you believe in Buddha, whether you believe in whoever. And who am I to judge to say it's right or wrong? But I know what I believe. I'm not going to force my beliefs on you, but I'm going to pray for you and pray that God meets you where you are and you have a life-changing experience.
And you're planting seeds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you plant seeds,
somebody else got to water.
Let God do the increase. He'll do the increase. You have to be a willing vessel and obedient to what it is that He's telling you to do. Once you drop that seed in the ground, it's going to grow. It's going to grow. So we just give that's the life.
Be the life. Come on,
like. That's what it is.
That's good.
Wow. Hey, so yeah. This is I'm thank God. So once again, this is like my 5th show.
Wow.
Exact. Thank you. I know, right? So God has positioned me once again with another blessing that I know only came from Him.
That's right.
And my walk with the youth, I think I was really put on this earth to do that. And I'm an advocate for the youth for the rest of my life. And it's so amazing how so many things are coming my way because I'm actually trying to take care of our kids. So I'm going to give this question for all you guys. Everybody ready? Oh God, here we go. I need to know, whether it's from mom, grandma, dad, or whatever, what did you take out of the conversation about the birds and the bees?
Go ahead.
You go first. The birds and the bees, guys. I don't understand what the birds and the bees was. That's what they always. I ain't never seen a bird and a bee interact.
I never
ever.
did either.
But we gonna.
Honestly, I don't recall ever having that conversation with my parents. I think it was just told, don't have sex.
Right.
It was no why you shouldn't do it. Just don't do it. The Bible says don't do it. So there still leaves a level of curiosity.
There you go.
So you can be like, oh, they didn't tell me why I shouldn't do it, so I don't see nothing wrong with it. But as I grew in my relationship, I realized in my relationship with God that I have to honor Him. Regardless of what my parents told me, they instilled it in me and they poured it into me, and I'm beyond grateful.
Yes.
But when I learned it for myself, it was like I'm doing it for me. Because at the end of the day, I have to speak. I'm accountable for myself. So I have to take what my parents gave me, honor them, and honor God.
Amen. Who's next? We dropping a lot of mics in here. They dropping mics left and right. My man, brother Butch McAdams in the building. Love you so much, sir. My man.
I've never had either one of those conversations. I will say that my parents never told me don't have sex. They never gave me that speech. And I've even witnessed on occasion catching my mom in the act. It wasn't until I got introduced to church and I really saw how wonderful everyone else was and their walk and how God was. And then once I knew God for myself, I just would get convicted so much about the choices that I would make. And it would just make me be like, okay, I need to do the right thing out here because these guys, they really don't care about us. Unless you're really wanting to pursue me and court me and date me with a purpose, in my eyes, you don't care. You're just looking to fill a void, and I can't be a void filler. So you really have to just set a standard for yourself and say, I have purpose on this life, on this earth, and God gave me a purpose, and not to just play around with it, but to be obedient. So once you get that experience for yourself, just really go for it, and then, help others while you're at it.
That's good.
All right. Who's next?
Oh, sorry.
So I did not get that conversation quite. I mean, mine went like this. Kiss and you'll get pregnant. So
Old school.
it was old school, and that was the only conversation that I had. So when I actually had my first kiss at almost 18 years old, I was looking to see if my stomach was going to grow because I was like, I must be pregnant.
All right, well, I don't mean to cut you off.
Well, we'll stop at pregnancy.
That's a good. Hey, so I want to thank the ladies that came and joined me today, Miss Nikea Marie, dynamite young lady, along with her crew. This is the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. Thank you guys for listening in. Next up is my main man, Brother Butch McAdams, in and out of sports. Love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting Archie. Again, you get my books on archiebeslow@gmail.com or go to archiebeslow.com to my website and purchase a book. Amen. Talk to you guys soon. Be blessed.
Yay! Someone asked if the conference was for young girls too. Yes. For all ages, all girls, men, women, girls, boys, everybody. So yes,
it's a wrap.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man. Love you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you. Say bye to the ladies.
See you. Good morning, sir.
We gotta let Brother Butch in.
Come on, Brother Butch.
Well, I tell you, I must be in heaven.